Hi, folks. It's Darla with Dare Tell. Hey, you guys, do me a favor, hit a subscribe button or a like button because so many of you are viewing, but the message is not getting out there. And I'm not, it's starting to slow down because I have people viewing, but they're not hitting the button. And I'm not getting the stories to share with you. And now I'm going to have to share my own, which is okay. I don't mind. But if you would, share your story also at mecalgal, MECALGAL at gmail.com. Okay. It feels really good to get it out. I do have a master's degree in human behavior, but that's not it. It's life experience that I know for a fact when you tell your story that you can't just go around telling anybody and everybody because they'll think you're nuts, and you're not. It just feels good to get that story out. So you can remain anonymous, or you can use your name, however you want to do it. Also, do not worry about whether you're spelling or anything like that. I will take care of that. Just send me your story. Okay, I am going to tell you some stories of my own. One of them is on cryptids, which is like a Bigfoot, or what are they called? Indigos, or indigo, I think is a color. I forget what they're called. Somebody will have to tell me in the comments. I forget what they're called. But anyway, I'm from Northern California, but I live in Maine. So, but let me tell you, I have been all over the West Coast, but California, Southern Oregon, Siskiyou County, Humboldt, up there where Bigfoot is popular, where they have, castings of Bigfoot's feet and or Sasquatch, whichever you want to call it. Up there, it's Bigfoot country. That's what they call it. And, T-shirts, and there's roadside this and, a sign that and blah, blah, blah. But I had never seen one. I have hiked in 2 hours in the mountains to get to a lake to camp. Nothing. Now, I get to Maine. I'm going to tell you 2 different stories here. I get to Maine, and I live off the grid here just slightly, and to get to the store, it takes quite a while to get there. And it was a storm, a very bad storm. We shouldn't have been out. Nobody should be out. And there's only one store open. Most of them were closed because it's just common sense to have them closed. But one that we could go to, the person lives right across the street, so it's no big deal. We're driving along, and I come around a bend, and all of a sudden I see something that is so huge. It's 6-7 feet tall. It's enormous. But the head was smaller in proportion to the whole body. That I don't forget at all. It was covered in snow, but there was the white, there's also brown, which also matched the birch trees that it ended up going into. In Maine, there are people who hitchhike. If you break down, it's so cold, you're going to have problems. So, nobody's going to be out there walking. It's not going to happen unless they're in trouble. They're definitely not going to dart off into the woods like this creature did. It went into the woods, and it was not a moose. It was not a deer. I published this on social media because I was so hyped up afterwards. I was just so hyped up. I ended up ordering a dash cam after that, and because I watched this thing. I watched the trees folks go like this. Even though it was windy out, these were doing this. I watched. This thing was huge, and my eyes were not playing a trick on me. It was Bigfoot. That's what I saw. There's no doubt in my mind. I can just say this. I don't know what I saw, but it was on 2 legs. It had long arms. It was hairy. It was huge. They're not wearing a fur coat. I don't care. People can be stylish, but they're not going to be out in a fur coat in the weather that we were at. And this is not New York. This is a fishing village. So it's not happening. This was a beast of some kind, okay? And I believe it was a Bigfoot. Okay. Now, after that happened, actually, let's go backwards. Many years ago, I was in my late 20s at the time. I lived off the grid. And this was in Northern California. And we had a cabin. And we even had an outhouse, and we called it a path room instead of bathroom because you had to take a path down to get to it. I loved it. I spent 1 year. I wanted to do 4 seasons off the grid completely, and I did. Now, you could see the stars. They were just amazing if you slept outside or went outside at night. So we built a fire outside, and I made a stew. And this stew was full of a lot of meat because we had deer meat. We had gone hunting, and I hope I don't offend anybody, and I'm sorry if I do, but we ate venison and we ate meat and still do. So, my point is, this pot was full of meat and veggies, but a lot of meat. I'm sleeping under the stars. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, just sudden dread, doom, and something woke me up. But it was fear, like fear, and I don't know what of. I just darted into the cabin. That was it. Went to bed in the cabin. Got up when it was daylight. Went outside. The stew had a film over it because that's what happens. And I pulled back the film, got a bowl of stew. Now, this stew was still so hot, I couldn't put my finger in it. There's no way. It was still too hot. So I'm going through the stew, though, and I'm not finding any meat. I'm not understanding why there's no meat in my bowl. So I stir up the pot, and I'm looking for meat. There was not one piece of meat. And I mean, this thing was chock full of meat. There was not a shred of meat. And I could not understand that. I mean, you would not think that I put any meat in that stew whatsoever, but I did, and it was all gone. And I cannot explain that, but that's what happened. Okay, folks, those are my 2 stories for the day. Write to me. Write in your story. Tell me your truth. I'm not looking for fiction. I want to share your story. You can remain anonymous, like I said, okay? If you liked anything about this, please hit the like button. And I know it's not indigo, so it's called something else. Limdigo, something, indigo. There's another kind of cryptid out there. Somebody let me know what that is. I'll have to Google it because it'll drive me crazy if I don't. And let's see. Oh, yes. Write your story into mecalgal, MECALGAL @gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will share your story any way you want, anonymous or with your name. Okay, folks, have a good one.